Hi guys, I'm Danny, and I started a Sunday gym because I've noticed lately that people tend to go to colleges and universities without actually knowing why they're there. And afterwards, starting jobs that are unfulfilling. So I'm interviewing different professionals to see what they have to say and share their knowledge and experience with you. I hope you enjoy it. Right on, Haneen, thank you for joining. How are you doing today?
Thanks, thank you. All is well. Very
Uh,
excited to talk to you.
it's a pleasure having you on, and I really wanted you on the program for so long. And thank you for finding the time. It's amazing to have you on. The program going to be focused on three main questions: what do you do for a living? How'd you get there? And how did you knew that this was the way to go? So please tell us what you do for a living.
Thank you. Actually, let's say I'll start with what I'm doing right now, as I'm working in agriculture organization as a business operation and supply chain manager for EMEA region, as part of the finance organization, which is basically focusing on more on the plants support for the financial services of the supply chain and the operation team. And I had several roles in all in finance within, let's say, planning, controllership, credit risk management, and as well as reporting side. Um, so this is basically what I'm doing right now, and how I get there. It's basically
One
it's a
question at
journey.
the moment because I really want to, cover it up because
Yes.
and you've been doing this for quite a while, and the reason I'm saying because I saw everything else aside, I saw your LinkedIn profile. That's how actually you and I kind of met. So you wouldn't have been doing this if you really didn't felt that this was for you, because you can work in finance and not really be into it. There are folks like that, and I know there are. There are, but you're not one of those people. So were you like walking on the street one day and you were like, let me go do some finance thing, or did something else led to that? How did you end up there?
Actually, let's say in when I was in the high school and the university, I did not have an accounting as my major. Let's say for studying, I was basically studying economics, where in the economics you need to have some minor subject where you need to study accounting. And when I have these subject for in the first couple of years, I found myself very interested in the accounting, and I had a very good grades in the accounting without putting a lot of effort. So I really enjoyed that more than, let's say, any other subject. And that was the moment where it was like, let's say, an alert that I need to do something about finance. And I changed all my studying subjects at that point of time. So I changed completely and during the university in the third year to accounting because I really liked it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good story. Mine is actually rather similar. And the third question is, how did you knew that this was the way to go? And this is another reason why I wanted you here, because the amazing answer you gave on question number two. Now, I'm asking this question because I'm pretty sure you've noticed that too. When people tend to go to colleges and universities, and most of the time they don't actually know why they're there. There's simply this stigma that you have to go to college and to get a
Yeah.
degree to secure your future. And I've said this multiple times. I almost got crucified because of that. Like, I'm not against colleges and universities. I myself I got a a bachelor degree, a master's degree, and I'm doing a PhD right now. So clearly, I'm not against that. But I'm highlighting the fact that a lot of young people are going over there because of this stigma, and they're losing a lot of time,
Correct.
like 5 6 years. 5 6 years is a lot of time for a young person. 5 6 years
Agree.
can be used for something much better and invested in something else if the person isn't really for this. And you can see it with your own eyes. They're literally torturing themselves for 5 6 years over there. Then they start jobs depending on the background they graduated, and they're not really for that position either, but they just went on the wrong path right then and there, and they keep on pushing. And from my point of view, you've seen much more, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from my point of view, you cannot be happy if you're doing something you don't want to do for 10 hours a day. It's
Definitely.
impossible for my. And this is why
Definitely.
you're such an awesome example, because you went to university, You saw it here and there, and as you said, something clicked, and you were like, yeah, that's the thing. So how did you knew that this was the way to go?
Actually, it's by you will not know unless you will try. But sometimes we lack of trying. What do we know? What do we like basically? And maybe most importantly, that it's good to admit that it's fine to change our mind. So maybe in the beginning we will be directed and biased by our, let's say, family, our parents' preferences. And then when we start working on that, if we realized in middle of the university, and sometimes unfortunately we don't realize that during the university, it would be after we start working,
Yes.
it's always that right moment to switch and to do something else. So and this is my advice for anyone, because we spend most of our time in our work. So if we don't have the mix of working plus enjoying what we are doing, it will be very challenging to develop on that career. So in any moment where we can experience something else, we need to stay open. And maybe let's say in 10 years you will find me in completely different domain if I tried something else. But to stay open for different opportunities. And if we really in this first year, in the second year, when we are studying the university, we realize that we don't like this, it's simply we need to stop ourselves. Because if I studied economic and I have this conversation with, let's say, my sponsor, and with the, let's say, the manager of the university at that point of time, because my grades, my school grades were not allowing me to study accounting, while I have very good grades in the university for accounting. But just because I was punished because of my grades in the schools. And when I said to them, I told them that, okay, if I will study economics, I will not be a successful person, because simply I don't like it and I did not get it. But if you will accept switching me to accounting, I might be a successful person because I really enjoyed it. I have a good grades and so on. So we need to know what do we really like. And we're lucky if we will manage to do that during the studying. But if not, it's always, there is always a time that we can switch, even if we are after 10, 20 years in our career.
It's pretty remarkable how you were mature enough, and I don't know in which year, but in college you were mature enough to go over there to the deacon, to the rector, and said, "Listen, guys, this isn't for me. I know the situation, this, and that, and if you can lend a hand, it'd be much appreciated." I'm pretty sure those folks, they saw how mature you were, because there are people who are not like that, and I'm pretty sure they were more than happy to lend a hand, because every teacher is happy when his students are mature. So I'm pretty sure those guys were having the time of their lives with us. There is an additional question, and you said it perfectly when you highlighted the fact that you just, if you feel that this isn't for you, you have to act right now, because you'd be unhappy, and if you're unhappy during in your workplace, well, you're going to be miserable at home too. And this is another problem. I'm also noticing that people that are like that are having huge issues balancing the work relationship thing, like they're focusing on one and neglecting another. Uh, Various endless examples. I don't even have to start giving any examples on this
Yes.
front. So how do you maintain the work relationship balance? How is it? Is there like something you specifically do, or you share a few tips here?
Actually, for the work-life balance, or how I see it, it's not, let's say, it will never be 888 rule. So it's not something that you need to meet in order to have this, what we call it, work-life balance. It's about how you are satisfied of the time that you are spending at work, for yourself and for your family or friends.
Right.
And that's balance. Let's say I felt that I need this balance more when I start to have a kids. And for the first kid is different than the second kid. And in the beginning they were they need a lot of physical also support, not also a mental support. And in my case, here where we need to be open and share with, we need a support system, either from our partners, our sometimes our parents, our friends, our managers as well. We need to be transparent where we need sometimes to have a flexibility from work, as we sometimes compromise our personal life to work as well. So it's very important to be transparent and to have an empathetic conversation with the manager, where we, let's say, might need support for a period of time. So it's not
Yeah.
always the same level of work-life balance, but at least to be satisfied and to compromise from both sides. And during my 15 years of experience, either in PepsiCo nor Cargill, I have never experienced the challenges with my work-life balance and support from my manager. And it's basically due to being open with them and ask for support. So we need to be open to ask for support whenever we feel that our balanced, or let's say how do we feel, is not in the right balance
I
for
think you're
ourselves.
a perfect example of honesty wins. Because from what I gathered, you've been honest in the university. I'm sure you've been honest even before that in high school and everything. Honesty with colleagues, superiors, peers, managers, those that are in your team and you're supervising them. Because I've always been like offendedly honest. Like if I don't even have a filter, you know that little voice at the back of your head where it tells you don't say it because you will look stupid. That I don't have it. I've never
Yeah.
had. I don't know. Somebody might have stole it from me when I was in my mom or something. I don't know. But yeah, and
Yeah.
it's always a pleasure to speak with someone like you, because you're one
Thank
of the
you.
greatest examples that can be displayed, because simply being honest, know your limits and do what's in front of you, and it's perfect, and life is life, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's for me, let's say, even with, because sometimes when we also get let's say senior roles, we will have a direct reports. Sometimes we will need support from our teams, so it's not always, let's say, from our managers. So any
Yeah.
times whenever we feel that we need support for anything to keep our balance and our happiness, because also excitement, it's, let's say, ups and down, depend on the circumstances, the workload, and so on. But yeah, for me, this is the key for anything, to be yourself and to seek for, let's say, excitement and happiness in workplace as well as in your personal life.
That reminds me of a little story. Maybe it was a long time ago. I don't remember well, but I had to renew my ID card, and it's one every 10 years. So last time I did was like, I guess about 10 years, almost 10. And I had this supervisor. She was an amazing person, but she was constantly worrying about stuff like that. So, and here we renewed the ID in the police department. So she contacted me, on chat and said, listen, I got experiencing some tremendous backlash. Can you help a little bit? Can you take some of my, my workflow? And I sent her a picture when I was in the police force. There were a couple of cops
Yeah.
behind me. I said, I'm not allowed to answer this without a lawyer.
Yeah.
And she lost her mind. She gave me a call. What happened? Are you in trouble?
Yeah.
What? I'm like, no, I'm taking a new ID. Don't worry about it. Just send me an email. It should be fine. And the reason I did that is I knew I was doing it, but after that, she called me like a couple of days after that. She said, honestly, I can't stop laughing because of what
Yeah.
she did. So, it makes things a little bit easier, and it releases attention. I think that's pretty important.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
With that said, Haneen, really thank you for being with me. You were an amazing
Thank you.
example. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for you as well to ask me for this, and good luck, because this is really important for the any, let's say, youth people and young people, to support them and how they will know what they want.
Completely
Thank you.
agree.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
well,
pleasure.
huge thank you again. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye.
Guys, I hope this one was useful. Please follow the channel on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Gap, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Ring the bell and all the good stuff. Have a nice week ahead, and I'll see you next Sunday.